It's good enough.
All right. Hello, Dylan.
Hello. What's up?
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I mean, I was like floored when you responded.
Of course. I mean, I love doing podcasts. And
Have you done a lot?
I've done a few. Yeah, I've done a few podcasts, and they're always just so fun because it's like having a conversation.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
I listen to a lot of music podcasts, like Song Exploder and The Writer Is. There's a new thing on Spotify called Dissect, where they break down like Kanye West, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and To Pimp a Butterfly. So I listen to those kind of things, and I'm just always like studying the album making process.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Yeah. I would totally geek out about like film stuff. Like I was listening to Bert Kreischer. Is that how you say his last name?
Bert Kreischer, yeah.
Kreischer.
They make
He's
jokes
a comedian.
They make jokes and say his last name's like Chrysler and stuff, but it's not.
He's a comedian, and he had the Super Troopers guys on.
No way.
And so I was listening to that, and he was asking all those like behind the scenes sort of questions, and I was like, yes, because like film is like something I'm really passionate about. So
yeah, it's the best. I mean,
and you're passionate about music because
because you're a musician.
It's a musician, but I mean, I totally get. I've been in the show hole. I just finished the new Twin Peaks, like the new Showtime Twin Peaks.
I haven't watched that.
It took me 2 tries because like it's 18 episodes and they're each an hour long, and the first 5 or 6 are painfully slow. But like
one of those shows where after those 18, then it's all of a sudden now you're like
suddenly you just didn't get enough. I mean, there was one point in like episode 5 when like someone's sweeping up the floor of a bar for like 15 minutes, and you're like, are you gonna cut the shot? And then, but then in episode 8, so I've just been watching like all these special features of just David Lynch directing. I was just like, the stuff that goes into making anything.
You'll see something and it's like a 2-second clip, and you're like, that was like $1,000,000.
Yeah, that was like $1 million. You had to hire You had to hire everyone, makeup,
whole team,
like set,
lighting,
a guy to get
location.
like Roscoe's.
Yeah, you have to get food for everybody. It's a whole
I heard this guy
deal.
talking about being on set of Spider-Man 2 or something like that. It's a comedian. His name is Joey Diaz, and he was in it briefly. He had one scene, right?
And
not even a scene. He had one line, right? That scene when like Spider-Man's like pulling the train back or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he had to be on set for 2 weeks.
2 weeks to say one
every
line.
single day, just because they didn't know when that part was going to come up or when it was going to be able, like they were going to need him and stuff. So he had to be there for that whole time.
I love people that are just like their one line in the movie. They're just like, I improvised that line. That was my line.
And he said, just like, can I get extra ice in my coffee or something?
Yeah, they're just like that line was totally scripted. The famous iced coffee line.
All right, man. Yeah, so we're off and rolling.
Sorry, I had to close that for the echo and just privacy and all that kind of stuff. So, do you have any questions just from the get-go? Because I feel like we kind of threw you into this.
Any questions about what this is?
About, like, who we are, any of that? Cause
sure, I'd love to know.
How did you guys meet? Let's start with that.
Are you, like, super loud? Sorry,
Me?
You're like, really loud in my ears.
No. I'm super low in my ears.
Oh, okay.
I think your thing is turned up.
I turned yours...
Oh.
Up, down.
That's yours right there.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. So you had your first album out, and I found, what's that song called? Let's Get Started?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I heard it on the radio or it played at the gym that I worked in or something.
Would have definitely been the gym.
Yeah, so it was just like the music video would play, and I was like floored about this song. It was so fun, and I immediately like looked you up and like did all the research, and I think I found you on Twitter and just sent out like a casual tweet of just like
you sent out the bat signal. Hey.
I was just like, this song is dope. And you responded. And at that point, I was like living in Virginia, just working at a gym, doing nothing really, like waiting to get over here. And you responded. And I was like, oh my God, like, no way. So I like freaked out. And then you like followed me because I was a fan. You were probably like, yeah, I need more of these. I don't know.
I need more.
Are you one of those guys that like follows people to get followers?
No,
Have you ever done that?
No, I follow everyone back that follows me just because
okay.
I don't care about numbers, so it's like
okay.
I don't care about like the ratio.
The other day, this like semi-famous comedian started following me, and I was like, no way. And then I clicked on his thing,
and then I noticed
like,
all the followers.
Well, I noticed that he, I clicked on his thing, and he had like 1,200 followers, right? Or he was following 1,200 people. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I like went back, and I was like, is he still following me, or did he make a mistake? And then I looked, and he was following like 800 people.
Oh,
and I was
so-
like, oh, he's following people to get followers.
And
know?
then you
And
can do
then
that. There's like
unfollows.
an app or like
Yeah,
a
then you mass
company.
unfollow,
It's
like-
so dumb.
Yeah.
I don't
It doesn't
bel-
really matter because it's just like, yeah, it's weird. There's two sides of it. One is like people do look at numbers, so they just look at like a number, but it also doesn't matter if they're just like whatever. Like, you want someone like invested in you, like as actual fan, like not just like a spam account that just posts, like,
totally.
Right.
weird anime naked photos all day or something. Like,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
90% of the Twitter accounts.
Just spam anime?
Just spanime.
Spam I haven't
anime.
noticed that. I'm not on Twitter enough to know exactly what's out there. But so then we didn't start messaging. I messaged you and you were kind enough to respond, is kind of how it went.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, I mean, that's really cool that Twitter can connect people that instantly. And, you know, I automatically had respect for you as an artist and was like, well, I'm going to be a fan now.
Thank
and
you.
so I'll just tune into everything he does from now on. And
That's why I do it, because whenever someone does it to me, it makes my year, you know?
Right, exactly.
Even if it's like, they like it, or like, thank you. It's just that is enough, like, for me, whenever I tweet about, like, anything favorite. So it's like, of course, why not do that? And it doesn't really take that much time.
No.
Like, if
it's
you're in
on
the
your
car,
phone.
just, like, you know, not driving, but just respond to people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So then, we started this podcast like last month, kind of.
We've been doing it, for about 5 or 6 weeks now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're going
Yeah.
live at the beginning of next month, June 4th. That's what I keep saying the release date is. But we're trying to like get a bunch of good interviews.
We're accumulating good interviews so that
And
by
then
the time it
we'll-
comes out, we can just blast it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, so I know a couple other people just from living here. I've been here for like 2.5 years now.
Oh, great.
And because that's when we first talked, I was on the other side of the country
Yeah.
trying to get over here.
Have you guys met before today?
No.
Really?
No,
okay.
I played Virginia around that time at a place called Jam and Java. But that,
Jam and Java sounds familiar. Where is that?
it's about an hour away from Washington, D.C., I think.
Yeah. That's near where I lived, I think.
Vienna?
Yeah.
What is Jam and Java?
I
It's
think
a
I had friends who
venue
played there.
that I've played there. I played there like twice.
Cool.
Really cool out there.
That's awesome. Wow, I didn't even know that. Because I had friends in high school that were like in bands and stuff, and so Jam and Java was kind of in the ether that I had heard about it, but I don't think I've ever
Is it a
been
coffee
there.
shop?
It's actually like there's a little coffee shop in the front, but the rest of it's like a very nice venue. It's very dedicated to music.
music.
Great
Yeah.
green room, like which to me is always just like I don't care.
a
Like if
perk,
the
right?
sound sucks and the sound guys are bad, like I don't care if the green room is good. So
Wait,
like,
what makes a good green room? Like snacks? Okay.
somewhere to sit,
Clean.
clean. Those are the three musts, and then like a cool additions are like if they have like water, towels, an extra place to sit,
For more than just
more
me.
than one chair. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you
How long
played
have you
there.
been? First of all, how old are you?
21. I turned 22 in June.
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, you
Since
started-
I put out my first EP in 2012, so what?
6
Yeah,
years?
6 years.
So you were like 14 or 15?
Yeah,
Holy
I was
crap,
14
man.
or 15 when I made my first, and I self-recorded it too, and I put it up on.
How'd you get it out there?
I just put it up through TuneCore.
I've never even heard of that.
TuneCore is a distributor that will put your music up on iTunes, Spotify, you know, all those, the Amazon, CD Baby, and all that stuff. So when I was 14, 15, I had these group of 5 songs, and I like recorded in my room, and they're super fun and like super reverby, and they sound like I'm really proud of it. It's not on the internet anymore because I sort of took it down when I went to go make my first album. I was like, I want my first album to be like the first thing that's on the internet. Now I wish it was kind of back on there, but
Did someone like discover you, or you just went through TuneCore and got?
went through TuneCore on Morning Stories, which is the EP, and that
Okay.
was like, I mean, literally just like, you know, put it up on the fridge essentially. But like,
Yeah.
went and made Adventures in Real Time independently, the same thing. Hooked up with a manager through the process of my album, my EP, like cycling through like the bottom end of some labels and stuff, and ended up going all the way up to like the VP at Hollywood Records, which he left his job to manage me.
Wow.
So from there, I like looked through like my 100 songs I had, and we picked the 10 best ones, and that became Adventures in Real Time, which we did half in my room and then half in the producer John Dragonetti's like guest house, like back studio sort of thing. And same thing, we shopped at labels, but like they just, being a new artist on a label these days is, impossible.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because it's mostly done just like online.
It's like these days, like labels kind of want you to be famous already. But enough about that. But like so we sent it to everyone, and they're just like, whatever. We don't really get the vision, whatever, and put it up independently through TuneCore. And Let's Get Started. I remember checking a box called Spotify because I hadn't heard of it yet. Like it was relatively new.
Spotify?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time. I remember like I was in Arizona at the time sitting on the patio and I'm talking to my brother. I was like, what is Spotify? And Mark's like, oh, they have everything on there. I'm like, do they have Paul Simon? They're like, yeah, like, wow, they have everything. But
did you ever think about getting on SoundCloud and just being one of those artists?
No, I'm late to the SoundCloud game. It's weird. Maybe I might have just jumped on the Spotify bandwagon at the right exact time. So the album came out and I never checked Spotify because I just figured it would be like morning stories where just people would just put it up on the fridge. And I remember 2-3 weeks later, I was at a Panda Express in Pasadena, and I was like, I'm gonna reluctantly check this, like, because I didn't want to see the numbers because I didn't want to know it was like doing badly. And Let's Get Started at 80,000 plays, and I was like, why? And then the next day it had 100,000, and then it had 200,000 and 300, and then it hit 1 million and 2 million and 3 million, and basically it got on all these Spotify playlists. Like this was back when Spotify was not touched by labels at all. It was just run by people who just like love music.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was just the best time of my life. And then we hooked up with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers reached out after that and wanted to reissue the record. So that's the story of that first record.
Sick.
Yeah.
And now you have a second record.
Now we have a second record. Yeah, we made it on Warner Brothers. It's called Almost Real, and it just came out like 3 weeks ago. But we put this one out independently, just from so many people changing over at the label and stuff.
Can you do that once you're already with the label?
Well, we left the label. It was the idea that they had me make this record and weren't very interested in promoting it. So, to the goodness of the label, they gave the record back to me.
Oh, that's very nice.
Which was very nice. Thank you.
That doesn't always happen, does it?
Does not always happen.
People
There was
get
a lot
locked
of people
up in that kind of stuff.
There was a lot of people in my position that don't have the record back, but it's that's just how it is. But I was super label friendly and super nice to everyone there, and it's that good karma goes a long way. I think, like, and just knowing the people there, like, they cared about my career, so they gave me the record back, and we're just
seemed like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah,
he seemed like a very like Spider-Man-ish type guy.
Yeah, like
you do
at night.
Seem like
I share a birthday with Tobey Maguire.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You're very
You
much
look like
more
the
like
new Spider-Man guy.
the new Spider-Man.
What's his name? Tom Holland?
Awesome. Spider-Man was
Is that his name? Yeah.
Superheroes were my thing.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, it was like the Beatles and comic books.
So, you're super
sure.
nerdy then.
Super nerdy.
That's awesome. I'm learning.
That's offensive.
No, I was going to say that I'm learning that I'm super nerdy.
Yeah.
And all of the people that I am relating to are super nerdy. Like, my cousin was super into comic books, and his dad, and they are the funniest people I know. And
you know what nerdy means to me? Interesting.
It
just means you're into things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like actually have a genuine interest in stuff.
Yeah.
It means
Or
you're
like
super
art.
passionate about something that maybe a lot of people aren't, but I feel like now with that...
Now it's definitely the norm.
Yeah, it's the norm.
Because we just watched Avengers Infinity Wars. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it yet. Someone in my last show came up to me like during like an album signing. They're like, "Have you seen it yet?" And I was like, "No." And they like got like offended.
They're like, "Bye."
They're like, I wanted to talk to you about it and ask you questions.
Affinity Wars. Yeah.
But yeah, so we were watching that, and we were discussing like how brilliant Marvel is for taking such fantastic actors and putting them in this super fantasy world, because then that just makes the fantasy much more real.
Yeah.
And much more awesome for the fans who have read all of these comic books and want to see this stuff done in a beautiful way and done really well. And just because before,
Because it has to be sold to the audience. Because if you don't sell it to the audience...
Because if you don't sell it, it's just cheesy and you can check out real quick.
Right.
Which is why I think for the longest time I thought that I wasn't interested in that kind of stuff. Because you saw
the movies weren't very good in the early 2000s. You just had Spider-Man, but you had like Fantastic Four.
Those were terrible.
The first of 7 reboots of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they weren't like taking care of the stories, they weren't getting any new fans.
Yeah, Ghost Rider. which is my
And all the
favorite. That was my
people-
favorite at the time.
Dude, I loved Ghost Rider until that movie came out.
See,
Did you
that's
like
what I'm
that
saying.
movie?
They have
I saw the movie in the
destroyed
theater, and I
stories.
loved it at the time. It's like a little kid seeing like Ghost Rider on the big screen.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I mean,
it was cool. Like I had all the toys and stuff, but
yeah,
like,
he's
I didn't.
the coolest looking.
Right?
I mean, hero, villain, whatever. It's just like
Anti-hero?
Yeah, anti.
Was that Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
flaming skull
Yeah.
on a
Push.
motorcycle.
What was that?
That's my push. That's my kick. Yeah.
Oh, it's so classic in Nicolas Cage impression.
Anyway, back to music.
Yeah.
So before you recorded your first album and got it out there, you had to have been like 10 or younger when you like really got into like playing guitar and like singing, right?
Yeah, I started on the drums actually, really
way.
young. I wanted to be like my brother, and then like Ringo, and then like really like Travis Barker from Blink-182.
Hell
It was
yeah.
kind of funny, so I
Hell
just
yeah.
like put my cymbals super high up and would always rearrange the drum set and stuff.
What age did you start playing drums?
So I was really, really good by 7,
Really?
which is not like I'm not like
Your parents didn't give a shit, or did you just have a huge house?
they didn't give a shit. It was
Really?
just in the suburbs, and my next door neighbor, who was like my best friend, who's like my same age roughly, was also a drummer. So it was like, oh, this is like the drum,
The drum
street
boys,
drum duo.
yeah.
the drum boys. So yeah, it's always been a noisy house. But I say that I was really good by 7 because there's a video of me. The very first public performance I ever did was when I was 7. I did the school talent show, and I played a drum solo, and it was amazing. And I could say that because the 7-year-old me is a better drum player than I am now because I haven't
You haven't
Kept up.
Yeah.
So it was my life. I practiced every single day, and it was
So you just had an affinity for music from an early age.
So that's what I wanted to do, and then basically what changed that was I did the talent show every year, and then I like started singing, just didn't like not even a reason why, and I was like, oh, I want to play a song and sing, and I was like, that sounds really weird if you're just playing drums and
Yeah.
singing. So I was like, I gotta go to a more melodic instrument, which I tried my hand to the piano, and it was a little too like set up straight and a little too like conformed
Classical.
for me. And it was basically I saw a video of Jimmy Page and from Led Zeppelin, and I was like, I want to be that. And I just like got a little Les Paul, like a knockoff Les Paul, and then just
Nice.
learned. Just got to Teach Yourself Guitar Chords book, learned that. And then piano came along when I saw Ben Folds and I saw Elton John, and I was like, I want to be those guys. And then I just sat down every single day. I learned every Ben Folds song. Like there was a point where I knew every single one.
You just got obsessed.
Obsessed, yeah. The obsession is what kept me going. And then so it's like once I learned all those things, like I started to be able to learn how to like translate songs through them, and then just songwriting just started happening when I moved to Arizona when I was 14.
Was that you just moved there or your family moved there?
My whole family moved there. We lived in Illinois at the time, in a state called Plainfield, which was funny. Which was mentioned on Colbert's Late Show last night. He was like doing like Plainfield jokes. Which, I mean, could not be. It's
more random city
It
in
couldn't be a
Illinois.
more random city, except for the fact that Melissa McCarthy is from there. But this is like when I was born there. There was nothing. It's just grass and like houses and all they did.
And a
I think,
Walmart?
was and a Walmart. It was like the '96 Peanut Festival. That was like what they had there. It was like it's called Plainfield. And nowadays it's a little bit more booming. Like there's places and buildings and stuff. But yeah, I grew up in that small town, and it was awesome. Like growing up in a small town was really fun. And then moved to Arizona. We didn't know anyone. My parents just moved strictly because of weather. Really.
Wow, that's bold of them.
Yeah, and I just graduated, and at the time I was like, yeah, I don't want it to be cold either. So like,
Right?
went
The
to
cold is
Arizona,
not fun.
And it was great. And lived even in the middle of nowhere, like more in Arizona, in Santan Valley, like which was a brand new city. Like it was.
Santan or Satan Valley?
I called it Satan Valley. I called it Satan Valley because it was so hot, and there's no grass and no trees.
Everything's
it's just
dead.
rocks and spiky plants.
Ooh.
So lived there for 4 years, and I feel like it was because I was in the middle of nowhere that's what got me into songwriting, because it gave me
it was something
no
to do?
distractions.
Yeah.
and it was something to do, and I could focus and like work on myself.
So you said you had graduated high school before you moved?
Oh, graduated grade school before I moved.
Grade school. So you went to middle school and high school while you're in Arizona.
Just started high school when I went to Arizona. I did 1 year, and then at a really nice, like prestigious school, which made me a lot smarter. But then I became homeschooled to focus on music.
Wow.
That's awesome that your parents were really supportive of that, because I wanted to play drums, actually. I started playing guitar when I was like 12. And then, when I was like 14. And then I really wanted to get into drums, but I wasn't allowed because it was too noisy. And like, I felt like even with guitar, like my mom was supportive of it, but like everyone else in my family was just like, can you fucking stop playing that same note over and over and over and over? You know?
Yeah, drums don't change pitch, so you're gonna get the same one like over and over again. Wow.
Did you ever have that, like when you were playing guitar, like did you use headphones or did you like blast it on your
I had no regard for other people's ears.
Okay.
I mean, like my dad, when we lived in Arizona, like worked from home, and I would be playing like Ben Folds songs and be like slamming on the piano, and then I would start writing songs. My dad would always come in like, I support you 100%, but I can't breathe. Like, this is insane. So it's kind of funny. But basically, yeah, I was always practicing, always playing out loud. In Illinois, we had a basement, so that made it a little nicer. So, like, you can close the door and you're under the house, essentially, to just do whatever. And, yeah, I learned how to record down there. We had a little 4-track, like, tape recorder, and I would record AC/DC covers on it.
Nice.
So I just, like, on each instrument, which is just what taught me how to, like, record now.
And put stuff together.
Yeah, it was fun. And I wish I would pay $1 million for those tapes. I just can't find them.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, I had some. I had a Zoom recorder. This was like maybe like in 2010.
Yeah.
And I met up. I was very into metal when I was younger, and I had this friend that was like to this day still one of the best drummers that I've ever seen play.
Wow.
And when him and I first met, we like his uncle actually told me about him because I worked with his uncle. He's like, oh, dude, my little nephew can like play like Slayer, like all this like crazy metal stuff, and I'm like, and I was like, sure he can, but I was like, I play that stuff on guitar though. And when I met up with him and he like started playing, I was like, oh, you weren't kidding, he's fucking amazing. So him and I kind of collaborated for like 2 or 3 years, and we just had a little Zoom recorder, and I don't know what the fuck happened to that thing, but I wish I had it.
Damn, that's so interesting to think about how we all sort of played around when we were super young, and now we're like fully or more realized now with what we want to do.
It's called growth, Betsy.
No, but I'm saying like I didn't think about doing comedy or podcasting or any of this stuff until I moved here, which was 3 years ago. So I'm and even comedy was only like not even 6 months ago. So I'm very new at what I want to do. Like I took the time to like love myself and figure out all the other things of life before I was like, here's what I want to do. So I'm like very set for it. But I did, like, me and my sister would always put on plays. When we were younger, we would have, all the time. Like, our cousins every Christmas would do a play. We did Charlie Brown's Christmas, and it was the best production ever. I mean, for us, because obviously we care. Yeah. But, like, we would do talent shows where we would do choreography all the time. And, like, me and my friends in my basement one time, we just took the family video recorder and did our own little skits and stuff, and I was terrible on camera. I hated watching myself. I hated hearing myself. I always wanted to sort of be behind it, but that was because I was like nervous and like I wanted to be in front of the camera, but I hated watching myself at the same time.
I think everyone feels that way in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I ever heard my voice on that tape recorder, I cried. I was like, I suck so bad.
What made you keep going then?
Just like
you the fact that I wanted to keep
doing it because I was just in the basement. I remember I specifically remember I wanted to record Beatles' "Love Me Do" because I wanted to do both the harmonies myself, and it was just so I never really sang before, so it's like here's like a completely unpracticed, untrained like voice singing, and it was I was like 10, so there was no anything, so I was like and I was just listening. I'm like, this sucks, and I actually don't remember. I just have this weird drive. I mean, is it
like when you're really bad at something, you're like you want to be better at it, and you just
it's also you have a passion for it, so that drives it. Yeah, same way. But I remember when I was younger, I think I explored the creative process, and then I took a step back for a really long time. Until I got into high school, and then graphic design was sort of my path back to being a creative person.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I remember I was in my room one time, and I tried to write lyrics. I tried to like write a song one time, and I wrote the lyrics, and then I reread them, and I was like, "This is awful.
Yeah.
I'm never doing this again." And I
did
just
the
like,
same
Although
thing.
all lyrics read bad mostly.
well,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But I like had a tune and everything.
gotta
I was
be a
like
melody
trying
to
to.
it.
Well, I was trying to just like do it on the spot and have it be brilliant, thinking that that's how it would just work. It would, if it was meant to be, it would just be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I tried poetry and everything, and like I think what it was I was never being honest. I was never coming from an honest place, which is where art truly grows from.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, you have to speak honestly, and then therefore it will be art. But I was always trying to be artistic, and then it didn't work. So that's why I was like, I can't do this right now, or I don't want to because I'm no good at it. So it took me a while to come back.
How long have you been in LA?
I'd say 4 years.
Okay.
I've been here like since I moved from Arizona, and it's great. Like I live out in Pasadena,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's just
Beautiful.
yeah, it's pretty
That's
beautiful.
a
love
nice area,
Pasadena.
isn't it?
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's clean. It's like very quiet. Like I am all the noise there. It's it's a little removed from the city, which is nice, but
It's
only
LA
30
without
minutes.
being LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't take that long. I have a friend that lives out
like
there.
15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
right?
But it's funny.
Well,
like,
from
what-
here.
like a lot of people when I tell them I live in Pasadena, they act like I'm
It's
in
so far
like,
away.
New Hampshire.
Yeah. So dumb. People have a weird sense of
It's like it's 30 minutes to go to
space.
7-Eleven out here. I mean, it's 30 minutes to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's
much,
30
yeah.
minutes to go anywhere in like any city, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you first moved here, though, like what, you were already signed or you weren't signed?
I was not signed.
You weren't signed, so
I
you
was
just
not
had that
signed.
one, the tune thing. What is that? What was that called?
TuneCore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just put it up through TuneCore, which they're just very common.
Did you move here before you were 18?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I remember Warner Brothers offered me the contract like a second before I turned 18, which was very smart of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, I remember being like, oh, that's like really good timing. Like I'm 18, and like it's like I'll be legally bound like to that contract. But yeah, I remember that. So I moved when I was 17. It was great. It was an amazing time. I've
you
always
paying?
wanted to live in LA.
Yeah.
Ever since I was, and not because like it's like the land of like rich and famous. I just like always heard like they have great records and the records are
Yeah.
in great condition and the food's amazing and there's like
And the weather.
yeah the weather yeah so all those things and it's awesome and it is everything that it lived up to me. I really love it out here.
It's a creative hub, is
Yeah.
what someone called it the other day. And
It is
Yeah.
a creative hub, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like becoming slowly obsessed with building my network, but in a way that it's not just like, oh, it's people I know. It's like I'm obsessed with people that I meet because I love them as people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm excited about the family because it is a family, the creative family here. It's all very supportive, everybody that I've connected with or everybody that I'm keeping a relationship with because I want them to inspire me and I want to inspire them. And it's a very just positive thing. And I feel like people don't think that LA, like they have a jaded idea of what it is. But living here and experiencing people here, it's just... It's a beautiful. It is. It's so dumb. But like I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was like feeling low because I don't know. I just went through some like emotional thing, and he came over and like consoled me, and then left, and I was like, wow, like I'm so glad I know you. Like I met you when I was here. And, you know, you don't really know anybody. And then you start meeting and having these awesome connections with people. And yeah, I'm very happy.
Have you built up a pretty strong network out here already?
Yeah, like a good network of people for sure, like musicians and producers. I haven't built really many friendships of people my age. Like haven't met
That's what we're here for.
very many. Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to do. Like I totally think that networking within your workspace is very important, but I'm just starting to build really good friendships here.
Yeah.
And I've been here. The first like year or two, it's kind of like you're making friends out of necessity, and then you realize, okay, maybe I'm not so crazy about these people just because I work with them or whatever it may be.
Right.
But I would really like, and I feel like I'm a good bringer together of people. My family is kind of just like
Your
everybody's
friend coach.
welcome.
An open house.
An open house. Like, I
yeah.
facilitate relationships between people. So, like...
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I would just... That's what I want, ideally. It's just for all of my friends to be friends. And
You're just a social butterfly.
that's me.
Butterfly.
Good
Butterfly.
speaking there.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
wrote a couple of notes down just, like, in case we ever, I don't know, hit a bump in the conversation or something. And I don't remember what they are. I'm so pissed. So I wrote your drummer is your brother in your
Yes.
band.
Yes.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome. How much... are you guys, like, around the same age, or is
He's
he older?
8 years older than me, and we have a
Okay.
sister that's 8 years older than my brother. So all the kids are like 8 years apart. But it wasn't like
Wow.
some weird from the beginning planning thing. It's just my parents seemed to like,
Every 8
one is
years,
enough
they just-
for about 8 years, and then it's like I want another one.
Well,
for
it's
about
like,
8
what do
years.
they get through in 8 years? They get through middle school. Okay, now it's
Yeah.
time to have another one.
Right, it's like you get a built-in babysitter. Like
That's pretty cool, actually.
It's not that bad.
it's not that bad. So like I said, I wanted to be like my brother, like being a drummer when I was little, and Mark's 8 years older than me, and he just never stopped playing, and he just has a passion for drums, and then he became incredible. I mean, because Mark studied rock, jazz, metal, and then he got super into free jazz when he was in high school, and so he just cut his chops on all sort of sides of playing drums. And I mean, the drummer he really reminds me of the most is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, which is funny, just like bringing it back to Led Zeppelin. But Mark has he lays down the groove, and he's got power, and that's really, if he hits a snare, it's different than someone else hitting a snare. Like,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's really
Totally.
interesting to me because some of my favorite bands have it's always the same pattern, that the guitar player and the drummer are brothers. So
really?
there's
Yeah.
you
Oh,
may
interesting.
or may not know of these bands, but there's a band Pantera, Lamb of God, Gojira. It's a French metal band. Every single one of those bands, the guitar player and singer, or one of the lead guitar player, is brothers with the drummer.
Oh,
and I feel like
crazy.
there's some kind of weird connection there. So I find that really
That's
fascinating.
good. Maybe I should make some metal music.
Maybe.
You would probably be good at it.
suited
But-
for it.
But I feel like that would be, any band, any type of genre of music. I feel like it would like bring that I feel like you guys maybe have like some kind of connection that people that aren't brothers or
built-in
siblings don't
chemistry,
have.
just
Yeah.
like a built-in locked groove to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
And it's funny when I tell people that my brother's my drummer, they give me that look like, do you guys fight? And funny enough, I've never fought with him my entire life, even when we were little, and I was annoying.
Yeah.
Never did.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But we're two completely different people. I mean, I write like pop and rock music, and Mark's pretty much into like ambient, like avant-garde music, but that it works so well because it's like we just complement each other.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
how did that happen? Like, you were like, can you do the drums for this part, and then it kept growing, or
He just always played. We played every day together. It would be like I go down to the basement, he'd go down to the basement, and we'd be like, I from learning from doing this, like I'm obsessed with this person, I'm gonna learn all their songs. I became like sort of a jukebox. So I would just go down with the guitar and be like, let's play this song.
You guys would do covers
Let's play
and
this
stuff?
one. So
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I mean these days, like now and whenever I do shows that are like 3 hours long or require like super amount of covers, I don't even need a set list. I just
You do 3-hour shows?
Oh yeah, I've done
Really?
So I've done a
For
couple
what?
How many
3-hour
shows do you
Like
do you
radio
do?
stuff?
Like,
Let's see. I did a 3-hour show for a casino that paid for like my entire first tour
around here?
and I did it with like bronchitis.
No way.
Jesus.
Was it one of the casinos in California?
It was in Connecticut actually.
Oh, okay.
I did not know they had casinos.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
there's a place called the Wolf Den, which like gives a new artist like a shot, which is really
Oh,
cool. Yeah, it's the kind of part where you're in Connecticut and you're like, this Mohegan Sun is the city. Gosh, I mean, on Record Store Day, it was like, what was Record Store Day? Like
What is
April,
that?
April 21st. Record Store Day is when local like independent record stores like celebrate like a Record Store Day, and a bunch of artists will put out exclusive records on vinyl. So like the Foo Fighters will do a cover of like Band on the Run by the Wings, and they'll press like 400 copies on like meat colored vinyl, and then they'll one record store, like one local record store and everything, like you don't ever know which one necessarily, like they'll get one in, and it's just an event. They do it like in April, and then they have Black Friday Record Store Day, which those are like my two favorite days of the year. So this Record Store Day, played To the Line of People at Freakbeat Records that lined up before, and that played for about an hour. And then I went and played a child's 16th birthday party for an hour and a half. And then I went to an audio store in Pasadena who also had asked me to play like a month earlier, and I just say yes to everything. And I'm like, oh,
that's dope.
All 3 of these are today.
Oh, yeah.
And so I played there for an hour.
Do you ever go down to Amoeba and just fucking hang out?
I was
for
there
a few
last
hours?
night.
Yeah,
like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that store.
Just hanging out with my brother. I didn't find anything. My brother. It's funny, we were like talking about like impulse buys and just like how like money doesn't necessarily matter. And he made a really stupid purchase that is like the coolest thing ever, which is calling it back to Twin Peaks. He bought a soundtrack of Twin Peaks signed by David Lynch on the wall.
Just because.
He spent like his entire month's paycheck on it.
Jeez.
He got home, he was like, this is the coolest thing ever, but it's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
It'll come back.
I love buying stuff
It'll
like
come
that.
back in a positive way, though.
Oh, yeah.
I totally believe
Totally.
that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
like,
cool. I like thinking about you and your brother hanging out in the basement and just jamming because, sibling relationships are powerful if you are on the same wavelength. Like me and my sister in comedy are completely on the same thing. We have the same sense of humor. Everything that we connect with is something that's making us laugh, which is just laughter is also powerful. So putting those two things together, I wish my sister was a little more
Open
to,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she's always like, get me on the podcast or let me, she always wants to help, but she doesn't ever want to be like in the forefront of anything.
Is there anyone in your life that's always like, can I like be your manager, or like try to get their fingers in or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved to LA,
Like friends that are
definitely
like, hey,
working up the connections. Like definitely the people you meet at the beginning are a little less like credible and more reachy. Like I had signed some sort of like some shady contracts in my life just from getting up the ladder, and luckily like none of those were binding because I wasn't 18 and they were, just done wrong. But like that sort of thing, you have to be careful with that. I mean, because a lot of people do sign binding contracts when they're luckily I made those mistakes before I was 18 and with people that like didn't realize that
it would go away.
Contracts are real, or like it would get.
Yeah. How do you a second ago you were just saying that you did like multiple shows in one day. How do you keep your voice from like turning to shit basically?
Well,
because I was at a concert 2 nights ago for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and like I wasn't even like yelling or anything, but I was just like kind of singing along, and then when I left, my voice was like gone.
It was dead.
Yeah.
Well, I think one part of it is since I've been doing it since I was like 7, it's like working out.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
It's like your voice is a muscle.
Yeah.
I warm up before shows. I didn't know. So like I had the same problem when I was first touring. My voice was dead. Like and it just felt like I played one show at Hotel Cafe in Los Angeles, and I felt like my voice was gonna bleed. So I was like, I'm gonna take one vocal lesson and really learn how to sing. So
Just the one.
You've only had one vocal lesson?
Yeah, I was very worried that
That's super impressive.
But I was very worried that it was gonna like ruin my voice. That's why I was hesitant, because I didn't want to go like,
you thought the lesson
let's get started to like let's get started. Like I didn't want that. So I went to this like sort of like opera singer coach who's unbelievable, and just guy is the magic key to life. He was like Bjork's vocal coach, which is the only reason I went there, and Corey Taylor's from Slipknot. So I was like,
chick? Wait,
his name's Ron Anderson.
Oh, it's a him?
Yeah.
There was a woman. There was a video that like, because for a long time I wanted to be a frontman for a metal band, and so I like you have to like learn to scream and stuff. So there was this video that a lot of like Corey Taylor and there's like a few other bands that like they would always say, watch this DVD, The Zen of Screaming or something like that, and it was done by this woman, and I forgot her name, but
right.
I thought that's who you were talking about for a second.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
No,
I found him through my manager, and I just saw he worked on a few people, and he really helped. Basically, as long as you eat exactly 2 hours before you go on stage, nothing dairy, and warm up exactly 1 hour before you go on stage. And the warm-ups are just things like...
Literally warming the muscle.
Like warming up. Like, you don't have to go like, before you go on. Like, because that's what I used to think. I was like, I got to hit my highest note to see if I can hit it. But, like, totally no. Just, like, literally just, clear the path for your voice to like go through before you go.
Yeah, it's like it is very like warming up for an athletic event. You just get your body warm so your muscles aren't
Stretching out or
shocked
something.
Totally.
when something crazy happens.
When you're on stage and you're singing like a high note or like something that you feel like in your gut, like in your feelings and stuff, like do you ever like get the chills like as you're singing?
I get chills in the slower songs that are quieter, like the ones that have a lot more like meaning.
Okay.
Especially when the room like has like a haze to it, and I feel like people are connecting. I've definitely gotten moments where I've gotten like those sort of chills, or like, which is crazy to get chills from like a song you wrote, because for me like it doesn't happen too often. But when I'm on stage, yeah, there's certain songs. There's the last song on the new record is my favorite song I've ever written. And when I play it live, it's just like it feels like the world is in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And this came out 3 weeks ago, you said?
Yeah, this came out probably 4 weeks ago at this point.
Okay.
So,
dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to check this stuff out now.
Yeah, the album's called Almost Real. It's just my second record and the best thing I've ever done. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I like that you're
sure.
doing it independently. I think, I was just thinking, listening to the comedians and stuff and how they're all putting out their own content on the internet. And Bert was saying, or the Super Troopers guys, I think were saying, they were like, how do you promote this thing if like a big company isn't attached to it, whatever. And Bert was like, yeah, well, I was going to go to this woman or this company to like promote. And they were like, oh, we can get you on a late night show. And he's like, I can do that myself. Or they're like, we can get you on Rogan. And he's like, I can just fucking text the guy. Like, what are you guys helping me out with if I have better connections than you do?
Well, that's the same. Yeah, that's the same exact thing I had just from working out here and from some people like liking my music and playing a bunch of events. I met like some YouTubers, which led me to more YouTubers.
I saw that you've done that was like a circuit that you did.
Yeah, totally. And I'm still working with them. I'm producing a EP for a big YouTuber right now.
Is that Gabby or is that somebody else?
It's not Gabby, although me and Gabby are actually getting together Thursday to film stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's just been that because they all just love the music and they just want to like help promote it because they know I'm independent and they're just great people.
And they just want to make shit.
Yeah, they just want to make shit. And it's just funny, like, when I was on a major label, like, the day my first single dropped, I was expecting, like, publicity because they have a publicity department. Like, zero. I got an email that said, hey, can you email Shane? And like Shane Dawson and stuff. I was like, what?
They wanted you to do it?
Yeah, I was like, I'm fucked.
So, yeah, because they don't have the same, like, it's so, like, business professional emails. And I was actually thinking about this. I was like, emails are like becoming extinct almost. Like,
yeah, you sent me an email the other day and I'm like, why'd she email me? Why didn't she just text me?
I don't know, sometimes when I'm on my computer it's easier.
Oh, okay.
But like people only used to email because that was the only mode of communication for the longest time. And then now I can just send things on. I can like, what is it? They say that you can like close business deals in like a jeans and a t-shirt in LA because you can. You just like hang out with a friend and make a big deal, and you're just like, yep.
Everything's done on the computer. That's why I had asked about SoundCloud because I feel like, and I literally just got into SoundCloud like with Noah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another
Noah
guy
Yesa is he's a up and coming recording artist. I met him through improv, and we had him on the podcast. Yeah. What were you saying?
He's really cool though, and it seems like SoundCloud's more for like hip hop or like rappers like Post Malone's type stuff, you know?
Or maybe that's just who
uses SoundCloud.
Uses it more.
That's why I had asked about it.
Oh yeah, I do put it up on SoundCloud.
Oh, okay, cool.
I never know it's just the same thing I just put up and I just don't know what will happen with it. It's up there though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is like remixes, covers.
There's a lot of EDM on there and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of sampling kind of things. Like I found copyright-free, royalty-free music there that you can use in like videos and stuff. So I've gone there for that.
Would you label yourself as any certain genre?
I call it pop rock.
Yeah.
When people ask, because it's
like positive, but you're also playing guitar and drums.
Like I'm playing guitar and drums, and when you see the show live, it definitely has a rock energy, like a rock feel for sure.
What's the vibe of like a show? Like, do you have like a lights thing that you do? Is it you talk to the crowd?
Super. I talked to the crowd a lot. Mm-hmm. Just over time. I was very bad at talking to the crowd at the beginning. I would just say like very stupid
you should be
things,
like, hi.
very awkward, and but that kills me because like and not that you have to like be super confident and talkative, but when I do see artists that you could tell they're scared to talk to the audience, it does kind of kill the mood in between songs. But I love that. Talk to the audience a lot. I get very involved. I get the audience involved a lot.
Yeah,
because
you
leave
energy.
the show feeling like way better that you were interacted with. Yeah, it's got a lot of energy. My brother plays drums. We got a bass player. We got a keyboard player. I play guitar and keyboard in the show.
That's nuts.
We don't play the tracks because I hate that. I hate
Like in the background.
Yeah, I hate seeing a band and there's just like music in the background. It's like why? Because because 100% of the time it can be made by someone in the band, and also it never sounds any different because if you know the song and you're seeing the band live, and all the music from the speakers is just filling your ears anyways, and it's to the brim. You can't even hear the extra stuff, and not to mention you don't want like a Milli Vanilli sort of situation where it's like your song is
off.
Off.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
That's horrible. I mean,
And I feel like
respect
people
that.
I didn't even realize that was a thing that bands did, because you think you're seeing a live band, you think you're hearing live music.
Yeah. Well,
And if
you
you're
also
hearing
Do a lot of
track,
rock
it's-
bands do that though? Or
I think I have a friend who's in a synth band and they play to a sort of a track.
Lots of people have like one or two things on a track, but I just think it's just so much better to see it made live, and also
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also I don't like seeing like the album verbatim live. I like
True.
a little improvisation.
Dude, yeah, I totally
which is
agree.
a big part of it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to see like a band like play Guitar Hero essentially with their songs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
cool, we nailed it. It sounded just like the record. I like bands that sound just like the record, but bands that could just take it like the extra step and just blow
Yeah.
your mind.
Yeah, you don't want it to sound not like the record in like a terrible way. You want it to be the record but better.
Yeah.
Is ideal for a live show. That's what people will come back for.
Totally. When I saw Sufjan Stevens, he played the Hollywood Bowl, and his last record, the Carrie and Lowell, is like one of my favorite records like ever. But it's very quiet and then whispery. It's recorded on an iPhone on an acoustic guitar.
Oh,
he played the
shit.
Hollywood Bowl, and it was like lights and
Epic.
pyro, and the songs had like 808s under it, and he completely redid things. And I mean, Pitchfork called it like had like a artist or like a fan vote in for like best live show, and it was Sufjan #1. But that's because people saw that, they're like, man, I have to go see him live because it's a different experience, and like I feel like you aren't as happy to go see a band again like if you just saw them just play the song.
Yeah.
One of the best live bands I ever saw is Lucas Graham.
No way, really? Yeah, he's on
Yes.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, so it's a band though. Like it's
Totally.
similar to you. Like they got a drummer, they got a keyboard player, there's a bass player, and he's just singing, right?
Yeah.
But like their music on the album, it's good and it sounds a certain way, and then you see them live and it's like, oh, that's why they're very popular now, and that's why they're like very talented people. You can tell that they're very talented at like creating music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
totally.
It just sounds just a little bit different, but you can tell that it's real.
So many times I get a band from seeing it live.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. If you hear it, yeah, I understand that completely.
Also, like Ed Sheeran type stuff, where it's just him and the
his
loop pedal.
fucking,
Are you a fan of Ed
Multiply?
Sheeran, or is
I'm
he
a
like
fan
your
of Ed
enemy?
Sheeran. I remember like when when Plus came out, I wasn't necessarily getting it, and everyone told me like you gotta see the live show. You gotta see those or like his underground shows from before this record. Like
Yeah.
he will get you to leave the room loving him. And
absolutely.
I watched that stuff and I was like, okay, wow.
His live show is probably the only reason why is who he is, right?
Yeah, his radio hits are like okay. I really wasn't a big fan of the ones they put out for this last album.
Really?
Like Shape of You, I was like, I don't give a fuck about this song. I'm so
But
bored.
when he plays that song live, it fucking
but
kills,
like my favorite song that he played, we saw him at a venue where it's like you can sit, but then there's like a big lawn and it's like an amphitheater kind
Wow.
of thing. So we were sitting on the lawn and he's playing Bloodstream, which is a song he just builds up from bottom to top. And then by the end of it, it's just like him and his guitar, and he's just like jamming out to this song with so many levels that he just built in front of you. And it's just like, oh my God, just do this for 20 minutes straight and I will love you. Like, it was incredible. It was
So
a
the
great
fact that you
show.
play shows that can be 3 hours long, now
No, you want
now
to go
I
see
need
him.
to come see you guys.
Yeah, always.
yeah.
Always playing in LA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? What, do you
Yeah.
have a
How-
show in the future?
Right now I
Like,
don't have a
coming
show. I
up?
played the Terrorgram Ballroom about 3 weeks ago. And that was really awesome.
How often
Favorite green room, actually, in LA. Side show.
How often do you play shows out here?
I'd say I play a show about every 2 months out here.
Oh, okay.
Like,
do you go
just
play
getting
other
closer.
places? Do you go on tour at all?
Went on tour a lot when I was on Warner Brothers. Definitely when I had like that backing.
Yeah.
Working on an independent like self-funded tour for this summer that like is across the country that I'm pretty excited about.
That's
Yay.
I'm just excited to get back on the road. That's really what I want to do. I have like 3 modes, like writing mode, recording mode,
Touring.
and touring mode. And it's like I've been writing and recording mode for like a very long time. And I want to get in touring mode again.
You're kind of
Yeah.
in the ether right now, though. You're like in between the.
In between them
In the
all.
waiting period.
Although whenever I'm on tour, like I'm immediately like
I
get
wish I was.
sick and I'm like, oh god, I just want to go home.
Well, when you
ride?
tour, it's just like you in a car. You don't have like a big bus or.
Nope, just us in a car.
In
a
I'm, like,
van?
I'm sleeping like right side up. So.
I feel like that's got to be fun though, right?
It is
in the-
fun roughing it, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Because you feel like you're doing something.
you're on a road trip.
It's
yeah.
got a cool, fun feeling.
It's an
to it.
adventure.
Yeah, I mean, like the Beatles when they were in like Hamburg playing strip clubs before they were big. I mean, they slept on each other, like on top of each other in the back of the van. And I always heard the stories, and I was just like, okay, I have it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I have my own seat. That's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah, I got a seat, so
Have you ever had anything stolen from you on tour though?
have not. But,
Really?
Yeah.
like I'm very paranoid about that, but I never take anything too expensive. I never take any guitars that are irreplaceable, and I
Yeah.
always keep an eye on the stuff.
How many guitars do you have?
Oh gosh.
Do you have a collection?
Yeah, I have a collection because my mom and dad own a mom and pop music store in Illinois.
That's awesome.
That is
And that's
dope.
also where everyone gets the bug from and where I got all the practicing time in.
Yeah.
So I think I got about like 10 guitars probably.
Oh, okay.
Just like a good like one. I pretty much got a guitar for every sound. You know, I got like a Strat, a Telecaster,
Yeah.
Jazzmaster, Gibson, E35, or E33. I don't remember.
What was the first guitar you really wanted, but it was like out of reach?
I wanted a really nice Les Paul to be like Jimmy
Yeah.
Page. But
First guitar I ever wanted was a Gibson SG.
oh, those are the best.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up getting like an Epi Gibby, and then I got a black Gibson SG.
Did
Or
you?
no, I got a black Epiphone SG because I wanted to be Tommy Iommi and Angus Young. I was like, they got one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hell yeah. Same.
yeah,
That's
that
dope.
That was sort of the vibe. So I played those sort of like beater guitars and then got some nicer ones like later over time. And
Yeah.
now I'm very picky. Like I'm very
Oh, yeah.
but like my only criteria is how does it look and what's the color. Before,
And now you're like...
now I'm like, what's the tone?
It's gotta be
How
a
does it
whole
feel?
body.
Is it light? Is it, because like
Yeah.
I somehow have back problems when I play guitar for too long, like when
Oh,
they're
yeah.
heavy,
Totally.
and it's just like now I like really like guitars with like really light feel on the strings that sound great, and if it looks awesome, that's an added
It's a
bonus.
plus, but it doesn't matter that much.
Not too much these days. I mean, yeah.
Do you like Jacksons at all?
It's funny. I wanted a Jackson when I wanted to be Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
I
Just
wanted
go through these phases of wanting to be different artists. I
wanted
it.
that same
Yeah.
guitar too, the V, the half V or whatever it was.
There's a half V with
Yeah.
the polka dots.
Hell
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, my life growing up was just phases of who I want to be, and it's still like
I feel
still
the
like
same
that.
way with actors and comedians, where like I'll get, especially comedians now, I get inspired by the way that they tell their jokes, and I'm like, maybe I could do it like that, or I could do it like I'll go through like a John Mulaney phase, and like he's very quippy.
Is it weird?
and-
I got a mental connection that you were about to say John Mulaney.
Really?
Yeah, because he's my favorite comedian too.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
Is he really?
You
I love
haven't
him,
watched
yeah.
him, or?
No, yeah, I love John
Oh,
Mulaney.
okay, good. I
Yeah.
was like, where have you been?
amazing stand.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's one of the ones that me and my sister, like I said, anytime me and my sister connect on, like,
You just throw out some John Mulaney references.
she said the other, like, this was like 2 years ago, she just said, I'll allow it out of nowhere. And I was like, I know exactly where that's from. It's
Totally.
like such a specific John Mulaney thing that I tuned in immediately. But anybody else would have no idea what the fuck we were talking about.
Yeah.
I love relationships and friendships that are based solely on talking and inside
References.
jokes and reference.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I have friendships that are based on literally just OG SpongeBob references.
Oh, dude, we're all about that here.
Yeah.
We are all about that
Hell
here.
yeah. Oh
The
my
boy
God.
cries, you a sweater of tears, and you
And you kill him.
My brother's nickname is literally Dirty Dan. My brother's name is Daniel, and we call him Dirty Dan.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
I'm Dirty Dan.
No, I'm Dirty Dan. Yeah.
Which one of y'all is Dirty Dan? Just rips Patrick's head off of his body.
When you go back and you watch those episodes, it's written
They're
for...
so funny.
The stuff I never picked. There's like an episode of Band Geeks, and I remember when SpongeBob's giving like the pep talk to everyone about Squidward. He's like, Squidward was always there for us when it was most convenient for him. And I never noticed that. Like when I went back and watched it.
Yeah, that show was definitely ahead of its time comedy wise, and I feel like our generation
our generation totally recognized how funny it was, and
right.
That's why
for like kids and adults.
Yeah,
like another show I love was Animaniacs. I felt like was a show.
Yeah, super intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what, all the comedy and stuff, it was super intelligent back in the day that you could watch it whether you were here or there. Mm-hmm. And now they just dumbed it down so far that nobody's really enjoying it.
I mean, like, Animaniacs would have, like, Ingmar Bergman references and, like...
Who is that?
I don't know.
It's like an insane, like, art house director.
Oh, okay.
Something that we don't even know.
No.
See, it's so elevated.
Yeah, just create, like, unbelievable stuff that they would like have, like, and just jokes you'd never pick up on, like
when you're 9,
right?
Yeah.
9, or just like really dirty jokes that would even like because the thing is, like, they would still have to give the script at the end of the day to the supervisors, but like if it's not, you know, if it could be taken a certain way, but it doesn't read that way on paper, then it would just make it like, yeah.
There were so many things that went over my head as a kid, but you didn't have any reference point for it, so it didn't matter. It wasn't really registering on that dirty level or whatever, you know, inappropriate thing you might have taken it as. But for the parents who have all the references are like, that's clever. My kid is so lost. This is awesome. You know? That's why my mom could sit and watch stuff with us even. She enjoyed it, you know? She didn't like the stuff that was dumb. She was like, why are you watching this? This isn't even... I'm not enjoying it, so you shouldn't either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just dumbing you down.
Anyway.
Well, yeah,
Enough
no.
about...
No, that's like my favorite thing to talk about is... That's why I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm excited that all those people that grew up realizing how brilliant things like SpongeBob were are now in the creative seat where they get to make shit. And
a lot of people are, yeah.
Yeah, and also that we have the freedom now to do it independently and put it out there on the internet. And
the world is changing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, really quick, you mentioned Guitar Hero earlier.
Yeah.
Did you play Guitar Hero?
Of course I play Guitar Hero. It was my
expert
expert mode.
I don't think I've ever played on expert.
Did you ever play the
never got
hyperspeed?
To, like, no, I never got to the Through the Fire and Flames, like, Raining Blood level Guitar Hero.
No.
Did you?
Man, I was better than you at Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah, you know what it was for me? It was wasn't necessarily the buttons, although I kind of have sausage fingers, so like it is the buttons a little bit, but it was just the upstrokes and downstrokes.
You had to have the right one though. You had to have that. You
didn't go up and down.
Explorer.
Didn't you just go down? You had to go up and down.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why I wasn't very good.
When you got to expert, hell yeah.
Oh, you had to go. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I just did down.
For me, it was weird because I'm so like rhythmically placed, and when you're doing that on Guitar Hero, like the little
it's
like,
different.
Clap back from the thing is a little off time.
So I had to actually use headphones when I played that, so I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
and when I used headphones,
it gets off time. The little like
so when
clap
I used
back from the little
it's off time.
Put
headphones on, and that solves
button.
That problem?
Yeah, the strumming button.
Yeah. I put headphones on and I couldn't hear that click anymore, and then I could just hear the music, and then I could like play. So I started playing guitar when I was like 12, right? Stopped for a little bit, didn't care about it, and then when Guitar Hero came out, I was like 15 or 16 or something like that, and that's what made me get back into it because I was a fucking wizard at Guitar Hero, and with my high school graduation money, I graduated high school and went and bought. I got like $500. I went and bought like a cheap Ibanez and a Line 6 amp, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna learn guitar, and I taught myself guitar in like
that's so awesome.
In like maybe a month or something like that, but I still to this day completely give all of the credit to Guitar Hero because if I wasn't that good at Guitar Hero, I feel like because when I picked up a guitar for the first time again, like the finger movement was just there was no restriction because I was so good at Guitar Hero. So when I started learning the real guitar, it just translated so fluidly.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it really does have like an influence.
Oh yeah. But I was saying there's like that with Guitar Hero 2, there was that white
The
Gibson Explorer one. That's the one I had. That's the one that I killed it on. If I used any other guitar, I sucked.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny you mention that because I feel like now, like subconsciously, my stage moves, like I do, like on choruses a lot, I do go like up here with the guitar. Like I think it is like star power mode.
Yeah, you just wow.
That's fucking sick.
That's
everything turns blue.
Oh, and then you hit that button to get the extra points.
That's
your long ones.
I take the whammy bars off my guitar because it's too tempting. I'm just gonna like abuse it.
Just fuck it.
Like I'm not in My Bloody Valentine. I'm not gonna like.
That's awesome. Anyway,
awesome.
We should wrap this thing up. We've done about an hour, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything, I mean, your album's out, so you can plug that, but like...
What's your album called one more time?
My album's called Almost Real. The lead single is called I Want It Like That, which
is great. I've listened to it. I love it.
It's a song about my wildest fantasies, about what would happen, like, you know, if my craziest dreams came true, like hanging out with Grimes, or at the time when I wrote it, Kanye West being president, which is funny, and... yeah, just sort of like my ultimate daydream fantasy. We just filmed the music video for it about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yay.
We're going to be dropping the music video like probably around the end of the month.
Dope.
So I'm pretty excited.
Oh, wait, before we go, Crunchtrap Supreme. Is that a song that's on the record, or is that just for...
It's not on the record.
That's on your
a song
YouTube.
That I wrote. I was in a YouTube video with Shane Dawson.
Oh.
And people that know me know like I have the ability to write a song in like 6 seconds. And Shane's like, you can write a song in 6 seconds on camera. He put the camera up. He's like, quick, write me a song of Crunchtrap Supreme. And I was like, I didn't have time to think. I just like started singing it, and then it became like the most important thing I've done on the internet.
Well, I was like, I'm obsessed with this because I love the food, and the song was really good to go along with it.
You both love Taco Bell.
Yeah, I
love Taco Bell. I'm looking for that sponsorship.
I mean, they're not that. They're pretty good at their.
We're actually sponsored by the McGriddle.
No, we're
no
not.
way.
No, we're not.
We're not sponsored by anything, but we are looking. We are open to it.
Just by the McGriddle.
So everyone kept asking me to do a full version of the song since I only played like a chorus and it had gibberish lyrics. But I was like,
really sat down and did it.
I was like, yeah, for like a little, you know, way to get publicity, get like some people to pay attention to the album. I'll do a full version of Crunchtrap Supreme. So I actually like recorded it full out and put it up, you know, 2 weeks before the record came out.
That's hilarious.
Beautiful. I love it so much.
Request it all the time.
What's your Instagram?
So at everything, I'm just at Dylan Gardner.
Cool.
On Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and website, dylangardner.com, all that stuff. And,
awesome.
And Almost Real is out on Spotify and on Apple Music, and we pressed very limited run of vinyl. There's only about 300 left. So, yeah.
That's sick.
That's awesome.
I'm sort of getting into, after she brought over this chest that we're going to show you in a second, I think I'm going to
start collecting.
Be getting into vinyl soon.
We need to get a player.
Hell yeah, we do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you
so
for
much. Thank you
very much.
having a seat, Dylan. This is the Have a Seat podcast with
Anthony Pacheco and
Betsy Hayes, and you can find us on YouTube and iTunes and all the other places where you can find
everywhere
podcasts.
else. Yeah.
All right,
Thank
we
you.
are out.